Well, hello there, everybody. How are y'all doing? So good to see you. Trust all is well. YouTube, this new format sucks. I'm just telling you it from a customer user opinion. But anyway, welcome everybody. How are you doing? So good to see everyone. I trust that you're having fun this day. And as I get over here and get over here. So speaking favor over us all, nothing missing, nothing broken. YouTube, it wasn't broken to begin with. This new layout, it just sucks, you know. What it tells me is that I think revenues are down, advertising revenue, um, which is typical and goes in cycles. So how is everybody? That's Gilbert. What's up, brother? Good to see you as well. Deborah, you said you're just listening. Well, hello, dear. Rare Sticks, thank you. Yeah, time is speeding up. That's no bullshit. I mean, it's right there. Brian, 1958, good year. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. And Shirley and Miriam, yeah, they do that. Mike P, what's up? Good to see you as well. And Nina, how are you? Good to see you. Lost in Space. Lori and Emperor, Jargo. Now it's catching up. It's all right. Enough. We'll think positive thoughts. Yeah. Cecilia, what's up? Good to see you. Good day. DC, hello. Goddess, good to see you, my dear. Matthew, how is it? John, what's up, brother? Nina, right back at you. Y'all check out her show over the weekends. Still doing the show with Robert V on Sundays, right? Okay, cool. I'm assuming. Fun as a barrel of monkeys. I was just listening to them before we went live. So I was like living in Burnett Balin when they were getting popular. And it was funny because, part of that lyrics is that we're the new younger generation and we have something to say. Just look over your shoulder and there we will be. And I went, yeah, it's still that younger generation. Never changes. I mean, the generation that you come into this world doesn't change. Now, maybe everything else around it, but no. Lucky, what's up? Good to see you. Uh, yeah, uh-huh. I'm right there with you, brother. Mr. Floyd, what's up? Go, all the way from Croatia. Good to see you. Stephanie, hello. Good to see you. Lost in Space, how you been? Uma, good to see you. Speaking favor, right back at you. Lori, what's up? So, there's so much things out here. I'll be talking about rituals. It's in all of our lives. In fact, and this is not hyperbole, um, you could say that our entire existence is built around rituals. We, as a sentient species, we have to have ritual, structured or unstructured. It's interesting. It's like, well, who the hell put that in there? But it's that natural thing. That's all I can say. What? I'm just trying to read in the chat room and I'm going, what? Let's see. Have to get that one. This Sunday, we have Martin McGregor talking about the real Satanism. Cool. Y'all check that out for sure. So anyway, odd. Do you know this interesting thing about our origins? So there's only a 2% difference in our DNA in chimpanzees. Hmm. Did you see where they found the largest snake so far? The green and mixture of a green and brown anaconda, 21 plus feet. How would you like to meet that along the path? Anyway, we're going to get into some really good stuff here. Uh, Here's another one, political science. Do you ever think about that? Political science. So you have an ideology that is attached to physics. I mean, is that an oxymoron? How does that work? And if there is this thing that we have contrived called political science, so what kind of science is it? Well, it's not founded on what we would call mathematical equation. No, this one's founded upon thought. So thus, you could say that political science is really about political thought. Hmm. Odd when you can think about that, huh? Bonnie, what's up? Nyota, good to see you as well. So, you see my comments about Bard? Excuse me. He's schizophrenic now. It's Gemini. Not that Geminis are schizophrenic, but this thing, it took a perfectly good name, Gemini, and said, oh, we're going to take this. Um, boy, I mean, it's rewriting history. Mm, mm, mm. You live long enough, you see a lot of weird shit. That's all I got to tell you. Um, but that's what it's doing. And so it is literally, it's altering the fabric of reality. I think this is the threat that many humans, you know, have a great fear about is that um, if the Mandela effect is what it is, and I certainly have experienced it, and I get all the thing that, how they try to, sanitize it, and I ain't buying it. But it's something going on. And again, age is only merely a perception of one's mind because age is really an illusion. You have the experience of going through many different lives, but that's why we're here. No human has a single life. Since we measure our life in cycles, circles, whether it's on this planet, whether it is our star, nevertheless, it is not so much measured in years as it is days. And, since I just celebrated my 25th thousandth day on this rock, um, I have technically lived and died 25,000 plus times. Could be said that sleep is really the mimicry of death itself. And that's why we should not fear death. We're very versed with it. We go back to that which we came from. And it's very illusionary and it's very interesting, the dream state. But that the fact that we go to sleep, close our eyes, lose consciousness, and then arise when the sun begins its cycle back. It's clearly representation of life, death, and reincarnation. And so that's how I see it. And you can't argue with me because each time you go to sleep, your body is going through remarkable changes. There's this whole universe at work, and we're not even aware of it, but yet. So that's just how I like to put it. I think that it's one that, you know, keeps things interesting, so to speak. Um, Cheers, everyone, by the way. I tell you, this new format just sucks. It just sucks. Um, but let me know how you see it. I had this conversation just the other day with a young lady, and I had my sweatshirt on, the physicist, and philosopher. And when we had Dr. Albers, those were some amazing discussions. Amazing. But anyway, she said, well, which one are you? And I said, well, I'm the philosopher. And so she said, looked directly at me and she said, okay, had this great little smile on her face. And she says, so tell me, Mr. Philosopher, something that I have never heard before. And I looked at her and I said, okay. I said, you're not alive. You're dead, as I am. I said, what you're experiencing here is just merely a memory. And she looked at me and she said, you just blew my fucking mind. That's what she said. And she said, and she's got this puzzled look. And there was this guy that was standing over here. He just had this blank look on his face. And I said, let me explain this. And I told her, I said, this is actually the death realm. We are the living dead. And she just said, you blew my fucking mind again. And I said, well, I said, think about this. The minute you came into this realm, you started dying. She goes, yeah. And I said, so which is, excuse me. Well, that went down the wrong pipe. I said, so which is longer, life or death? She got this look and she says, um, and I'd never thought about it, but she says, I guess death is. And I said, so if death is representative of eternity, in life is measured by a short span, I said, so which is which? Anyway, it was a delightful conversation. She hugged me as I was leaving out of the store, and she said, you have, and she, the last thing she said, is there really an afterlife? And I said, I wouldn't be speaking to you if there's not. And gave this big hug and said, you've changed my, anyway, it was very interesting. So there you go. Hey JD, what's up? Good to see you. Grace, hello. Paul Joe, good to see you as well. Chris, hello as well. So, you can make a positive influence on people. You really can. Even in this world of doom and gloom, fear reigning supreme. It's nuts. Because if you look at this and you look at the battles going on, everyone's bifurcated. Everyone. And you just and when you have minds such as ours, where we can actually step back from this kind of this spatial cognitive perspective, and you look at this, it's like looking at an ant farm. You ever seen that as a kid? And so minds like ours, we question their reality. That's the threat, literally. So if we question their reality, then it's pretty much, well, they're aware that we're aware that they're aware that we are aware. You're aware of that. Um, and that bothers them. Someone wrote me, and I put this thing down here. Um, as a former Christian and minister, I've watched your shows and I am shocked by the way that you address that which you once knew as your Savior. She said, you speak sometimes very callously, and are you not afraid of what is in Second Peter's, that you have now profaned the sacrifice? And it goes on to say, that particular scripture says it would be better for that person to have never been born. Um, and I totally get that. I respect that. And it's a fair question to ask. I've answered it before, I answer it again, but The answer is no. Um, it really kind of gets down to the fact of, which version of which Jesus do you believe in? Now, I studied the Gospels, the Godspells, and, people forget that this Jesus character, if he existed, um, here's the thing. He hung out with the prostitutes, the drunks, kind of the dregs of society, the intellectuals. There is a gospel that where, he in fact did hang out with the philosophers. Why wouldn't he? Philosophers would be his natural kind, even within the confines of the framework of Judaism. And, he got drunk. So what do you mean Jesus got drunk? Read the story. You don't go to a wedding and act like, well, hey, listen, I can create a miracle here by turning that water into wine, and apparently damn good wine. I mean, I love the story, just put it in a modern context. So the bride groom sitting over there, and they bring him, this fine bottle of wine that, it doesn't even have a sticker on it. And so he kind of drinks it because, they've gone through what they thought was the good stuff. And then he tastes this and he went, hey, wait a minute. Where did this shit come from? Wait a minute. I thought we got the good stuff first. I mean, come on. I'd like to have tasted that wine. There was a time in my life where I was a vino um, expert. I enjoyed the lusciousness of the life of the vine from the grape. And I can only imagine that it must have been some good wine. My point again is that, you know, if you're at that party, you know, all weddings, are always great parties. You ain't going to be the one abstaining from drinking, particularly if you just made it like that. Uh, yeah, you're going to partake. I've got a book right over there that, this Jesus character was no stranger to the mushroom. You're not going to hear that in Sunday school, but anyway. So, you look at him, if Jesus existed, I'd be exactly the type of person he'd want to hang out with. I'd be exactly the type of person. I mean, my mind is open and freer to being able to, number one, apprehend and then comprehend different multiple points of view and not get offended by one or the other. That's if he existed, that's where he would be. He'd be a subscriber of mine, probably writing me saying, well, how can I help support you? I don't need that. Well, I want to do, but just telling you, it's what he would do. So there's my answer to you. As far as the hell concept is, again, if your God has to create hell, then it's no God. If your God has to commit murder, it's no God. That's the problem. Christianity, we don't know where that God came from. Well, will the real God and the Father please stand up? Like, all right. So, Claudette, yeah, I would have loved to have sipped that too. I think, could you imagine it? And I'm trying to think, well, what would be going good with it? Well, on that day, you would have goat cheese. That would be really cool. And then, you would have the unleavened bread, which is that kind of cool. They got a little salt on it. Well, so I think with the little vino that come from heaven, like manna, I think that would be a hell of a spread. Uh, John, that may be your opinion, sir. I would have to disagree with you. So anyway, and hey, Linda Espinoza, Thank you, darling. Very kind of you. But anyway, hey, Mary Wins, how you doing, hon? So, but seriously, no. And if you have a fear of God, may I suggest you get a new God? Because listen, I grew up fearing the parental representative in my life. That's not love. That's torture. That's hell. And I don't understand why people who worship a God who says it's a God of love, but they're afraid of that God. Just saying. Hey, Rage Against the Machine, how you doing there, darling? Chris, good to see you. But anyway, moving right on along. Mark Smith, what's up, brother? How you doing? So Lucky Stone says, I'm allergic to wine. Oh, that is a shame. Well, Lucky, I can tell you, it's amazing what the earth will produce. It's again, wine has been with us, depending on the story, Adam made wine. Noah, Noah got drunk and then knew what happened with the girls, but we can just not what we're here to talk about on that one. So anyway, as they say, you just move on along. Why fear something you can't even see? Well, Bonnie, there you go. I mean, again, if this Yeshua existed, he'd be exactly the one. He'd say, that Steiger, the dude has got this way of looking at things. He's actually one I think I can come and talk to, maybe reveal a few insights, and let's see if he can, move the pieces, in the right direction. Always trying. That's all I can say. Uh, so not anymore, John. If you listened, I was said no. Hey, Benny, good to see you from Montreal. How you doing? But seriously, there was back in the day. Mm. Loved champagne. Cristal. Mm. Anyway, as we say, let's continue. As Lee says, wine or yeah, the thing about not having that hangover, because many people are have a problem with, the tannin, the thing in red wine is make sure you drink plenty of water. Mhm. And then know your limit. No, one glass, it's good for you. It's good for the digestion. And anyway, so let's move on. Jackie, nothing missing, nothing broken, darling. How are you? All right, so what else have we got to go with? All right, so this came from um, our good friend Frater, Nathan Setnakh. Um, and if I am correct, I believe that this was um, channeled by Metrodon himself. So I thought I would put this out because it was very, very interesting. And we're talking about rituals, and I thought, well, this is the synchronicity at times is off the scale. So I'm just going to read to you, this is how it came to me. And by the way, Brother Nathan, as well, the audio that you have sent me and give y'all some background. So, Nathan, his printer just started printing. Well, at first, he didn't know what it was. It was an old printer, I believe, as he told me, one that he hadn't used. Anyway, it started spitting out, started printing. And when he sent this to myself, and there was a couple of others in the inner group, that the first thing I thought, I said, that looks kind of like the Schumann resonance, a waveform. Well, It is. So he took that and then converted it into a audio program. And boy, all I got to tell you, we'll do something more on this. I'm working with it myself, and it is, I'll just say this, it may be what I would call true contact with an angelic being. That's all I'll just say. All right, so this is the introduction to this ritual, part one, intervention for such a time as this. And it was in the book I introduced y'all to, 20.56, Contact the Call. I'm just going to read it as I got it. It said, "This is not only a deliverance ritual, but a presentation that I shall go through step by step as methodically as possible and as quickly as I can. Thank you for your patience with me. I shall try and stay relaxed and focused in the presence of such powerful, distinguished royalty. I am truly honored." Yes. Um, I shall start by offering each of you my highest respect, gratitude, and appreciation. It's obvious you all have chosen the path of righteousness, honor, courage, integrity, and principle, taking a stand for what is right and just, to intervene on behalf of those in need. Special acknowledgement and appreciation to number 27, the Angel of Light, Ra Rathael. Angel number 17, the Angel of Revelation, La Vaha, the seventh pinnacle of the sun, to deliver and set at liberty. The Angel number 5 of Rectification, Maha Saha, excuse me. Number 63. And if any of you have Frater Nathan Setnakh's angel cards, then you can reference to that. The Angel of Unity, Noel, the Royal Star, Guardians of the Heavens, Andreas, number 20, Angel of Redemption, Fa'ah Lehe, yeah, number 20, Divine One, the Great King, Person, number 56, the Angel of Fortune and Support, Poiel. When we were doing that whole study of the angels, Poiel was one that just identified with. There's a strong connection there. And I have to really thank Lilith all this. When Lilith came into my life, I knew none of this. And look at us now. The divine number 56, divine one, the powerful Duke Grimoire. Yeah. Number 3, thank you, special guest, for coming, and a very special thanks to the very special Frater Nathan Setnakh. Thank you, brother, who has made this possible in his book that he wrote, the 20.56 Contact the Call. It says, my perspective. First, I think it would be fair to say that most are aware of the status of planet Earth and can sense big changes are about to come. A reset, a cataclysm, a galactic shift. This troubles my heart deeply for all. For some time now, I have been crying out against the controllers of this planet and its leaders for the crimes agents against humanity, who have orchestrated and manipulated events against the population's free will, without any compassion whatsoever, even for the children of this planet. This is a crime. What about cosmic law? That no spirit can overrule a living spirit's being of free will? Unfortunately, most are ignorant of this law, and most are manipulated into omission or consent by authorities. This is wrong. Everyone is entitled to their opinions and their rights to choose about anything, and this is their free will. But apparently, if one is not in agreement with the controlling lord's agenda, then you are branded the criminal and or imprisoned. So this is justice? No, this is injustice, violation of one's free will, as above, so below, as below, so above, injustice, on a much larger scale to the descendants of Seth, called the sons of God. Did y'all get that? To those that are, questioning things, the descendants of Seth. Who's Seth? God of death, destruction, called the sons of God. Well, where did we read that before? Oh, yeah, that was in Job, I think, 1:6. And the sons of God, and there was Satan walking amongst it, but it was the small s. Anyway, I digress. I shall continue. There comes a time in everyone's journey of life to choose a path, and without exception, one knows the correct path. But most never take it because it's too hard. And others choose the right path, a path made of principle that leads to character, courage, and integrity, the qualities of true leaders. Quote, once said out loud, not because of your injustice, not for me, the human races, enslavement, but because we loved you once and weep, that we might love you still, because we have given you knowledge, capital K, that no one will ever be able to take away from you, a light for those who walk in darkness. The offspring of the sons of Seth and the injustice to them all, the Watchers, the Egregores, the Gagori, the Igia, the giants, the warriors of old, Imram, Nephilim, the fallen angels. And what about Lucifer, the light bringer? How about Lilith, the guardian of women? Much injustice. And where's all the love in this equation? That's just my personal perspective. It is written somewhere, if the kingdom has suffered violence, oppression, or even captivity, the violent shall take it back by force from those forces, to be set free from bondage and be completely restored. Yes, it's time for the right king. I too have come to the crossroads and have chosen a path. It's the right path, a path made of principles by virtue of my sovereignty given to me from God, the source. I shall do my part to set the captives free, my brothers and sisters, the watcher angels. Part 2, the ritual presentation and operation. Says, I bring made, I bring made after and I'm just reading it. This is coming. There's a translation here, so remember this is coming in from a different language, Polish, I believe. I bring, or since I made, I am made after the image of God, endued with power from God, and created according into His will. Have called upon this magnificent group of spirit beings to acknowledge and honor you, also that I may accomplish my will and desires to set the captives free. so far as thine offices thou art capable of. My request is that thou come without any volition or harm unto me or my animals, that thou come peacefully and invisible, so that I may stay focused on this ritual without becoming distracted by your divine, magnificent presence. Greetings, spirits. Welcome. Thank you for coming in peace. Before closing this ritual, I would like to share something with you all tonight. Rebellion, revolution, freedom is its cry. These are said to be some of the attributes of the planet spirit Uranus. Found this quite interesting indeed. Thank you for such wonderful intervention. On behalf of our brothers and sisters, the Watcher angels, and all the sons of God, it has been my pleasure to work in conjunction with each of you spirit beings and do my part. I offer you all my highest respect and gratitude. Thank you all. This concludes this petition and ritual for now. I seal this ritual, this operation, with the word of power, Ah Ra Ri Ta. As you spirits beings have come in peace, go in peace, it is done. Wow. Amazing, isn't it? Uh yeah, it sounds like there's something about we've talked about this, Robert. And thank you, Robert. How you doing, brother? Robert V is in the house. So many of us have been saying this. We've sensed it, some's channel it. As above, so below. So if there's a revolution being brewed here, it has to be being up there already. The two realms. If the two realms are intricately interconnected with each other, brings up the question, how does the other realm, the ethereal realm, deal with if Earth was ever destroyed? What happens to that? I think it has this huge hold. But anyway, it's just me digress. But seems like the battle forces have been who was it that told us it was, well, the Lacerda files. She said that, and it's pretty much as well, it's within most of the major religion. There seems to have been this pause. Now, I don't think it was a truce, don't think it was a ceasefire. In any war, there are ebbs and flows. There's in times of intense fighting, always followed with times of great boredom. But something is in play. There's too much insanity in the world today. Too many humans that I question, are they really human? Or are they so deceived? It's almost as if they're under a spell. It's right there in front of you. We're seeing it. I thought it as well. I went back and looked, and the thing about the Lacerda, the reptilian, she, I think, was pretty right. Because here's the weird thing. She said that the gods that actually were the ones that made us, this seventh version, they left about 5,000 years ago. That is eerily connected to the Anunnaki. I mean, the eeriness of it and the fact that there's such a synchronicity between that date and the pretty well the thought that that is when the Anunnaki left Sumer. Uh, hmm. But she said they're coming back if they're not already here. Now, I don't know because I think when they left, there was a lot fewer of us walking this Earth. And I mean, I think they're probably pretty shocked. Like, what the hell happened? Boy, who told them this? They're not supposed to be at this place. I mean, are they going to be pissed? Or are they going to go, well, man, now we can really get into some experiments? Or are we feeling the effects? Because I don't think that the type of weapons that sometimes we think are these weapons that cause explosions, what have you, they're thought weapons. And what if the thought weapon used right now is the one that drives humans crazy? They make illogical decisions. They won't accept the facts as what they see them, but they'll continually try to magically alter them, paint a different. It's called propaganda. The United States is the one government of the world that produces more propaganda than any other government. What is propaganda? Propaganda is a spell. It's magic. It's black magic. It's very dark magic, but it can be repelled, easily dispelled. But unfortunately, most of the minds are too weak. And that's what makes it so effective. And why it makes us such a threat. Because, there's more and more of our kind coming together where our attitude is that we don't like either side. You're both fucked up. Quite frankly, neither one of you could figure it out. And so we're able to literally disassociate ourselves in the cognitive perception of this widget and look back at this and say, well, then, wait a minute, where's that influence coming from? And look at the effect it's having. I mean, the reason why we know it's a spell, the reason why we know it's magic being cast by master sorcerers, and no doubt some high priestesses know as well, is that because it lacks its Achilles heel, the love force, the love vibration. It scares the crap out of them. They can't combat that. Their hate becomes diminished. There was one time I was fasting for 3 days and praying in tongues for this period of time. And I was sitting on the steps of our house in Colorado at that time. And the next thing I knew, I was in this sphere. And some would say, well, you may have been hallucinating. No, if you really want to get into that realm, fasting does it. And particularly in my case, praying in tongues, yeah, anyway. But I was vividly shown what love actually does. Love absorbs anything that is negative to it. It's the true assimilation. And again, that's why the spell doesn't work. Yeah. So, hey, Elderberry, what's up? How's everyone in the chat room doing? Grace says, where did the Anunnaki come from and what star system, what planet? Well, if Zachariah Stitchin claims it was Nibiru. Now, the ninth planet, 10th planet. I don't know. I know that there's a lot of strangeness happening in our atmosphere. I know there's a lot of anomalies. I was my other channel, Wayne Steiger's channel on YouTube. That's all I did, hours and hours and hours of went through so many cameras, but you get so focused that you be to realize that I captured many of these so-called invisible crafts. I mean, but anyway, we ain't alone. So there we go. So who knows? I don't know. I don't know what star system it came from. It appears that we have this crazy idea that the other planets can't be colonized, and the moons. And we're now finding out that a number of these moons can support life, and I have no doubt do support life. If you have an intelligence and maybe you don't have a bio body in a sense of, life form, consciousness can be contained in many ways. So, thought that was cool. I wanted to share another one with you. Kind of just going through today as interesting little books that I have. So, this book is the Wisdom of Esophorus. This is, I thought, was really cool. So this is their symbol, their sigil. This is the Greater Church of Lucifer, bringing the light of truth to all who seek it. And I got this because I just wanted to bring this out because it's, again, what we do here. These are writings, and these type of grimoires are, to me, most interesting because the mind that's writing this, I have no, in my opinion, they're channeling. And, often said that uh, I've met Lilith and she's phenomenal. Um, I often wonder if Lilith isn't representation of Luther, but I could be wrong. All right, so this is the adversary. That I am ancient among civilizations, bringing the torch aflame, which ignites the common clay and burns with life. Where did we read that story before? Sounds like the old Genesis, right? My names are many, each commanding and concealing a specific type of power and energy, not only within nature, but also within you. Samael, Ashtar, Chemosh, Apollo, Helos, Athar, the rebel, Apollon, the king of the bottomless pit, Orans, Prometheus, and let us not forget Lucifer. Ancient man honored me as the conquering light bringer. Ancient woman honored my consorts in their various masks of power and energy. Hecat, Phosphorus, Artemis, Ashtaroth, Astarte, Inanna, Ishtar, and many more. I am, along with my consort, manifest in the morning and evening star, Ephesus and Vespers. Many have called me the devil or Satan. This does not insult me, for I am the enemy of the slave religions and death-worshipping cults of Jehovah. The ethereal trumpeter is sounded from the dark abode of Tartarus, for this is your call to ascend with me. Be in the mask of the devil or some dark terror, yet within you is the mask of the brightest golden flame in shadow hues. Angel of light. I am Lucifer. I bring in many forms the black flame, yet I am a symbol for your balance between the darkness and the light. Both dwell within you. I am the only God, which is, for I am a symbol of you. For I am not your temple of mind, body, and spirit is on the lion flank throne. Deity of your own thoughts and paths. I want to read that again. I am the only God, which is for I am, a symbol of you. This is deep. For I am not your temple of mind. I am not your temple of the body and or the spirit. The spirit is on the lion-flanked throne. Deity of your own thoughts and paths. Look upon me, for with my name of power, I am triumphant and bearing a great and terrible light. Michael W. Ford. Wow. How about that, kids? Oh, yeah, yeah. I tell you what. Mm, I'll put that one to the side. That is very, very. How about that for a Friday? You know, talk about that on the dinner table tonight. Going, well, how did you like that? um, Let me get this one up. And hello, everybody. How y'all doing? You know, in this new format, I can't see how many people are in here, how many are in the chat. YouTube, it sucks. Bring back the old layout. Just my opinion. So came across this one. Someone asked me recently what some other books I had of Lilith. This is an interesting. It's called The Magick of Lilith. Call upon the great goddess of the left-hand path. Um, and I love these grimoires are so interesting because they're even within the metaphysical community and the eschatology and the esoteric thoughts of Lilith. You know, I haven't met many of them that really portray her in the way that I see her. I see her as this goddess of light. She's beautiful. There's nothing horrible about her. I believe she has that side of her, but why would you want to be that part? Um, she's been very gracious to me, never harmed me, never done anything. It's no. She never asked me to do anything and ever bring it out. I think I was probably I know I was probably one of the first channels that brought out the Liber Lilith. So this is Ball Catamon. Many of you have some of his books. And again, I love the approach. And it is one of those things that is kind of cool. He says, I dedicate this book to the great mother Lilith. I think we'll get back to there at one time, you know. I don't know if it's now. This is a cool book, so you can see it gives a pretty good background of, you know, writings on Lilith. But again, I view those with somewhat of a dubious eye because I don't know. I don't buy into the paradigm that paints her as this queen of the damned. She got screwed, totally screwed. And raped. I mean, I don't dig that shit. That's all I got to say. And I thought this as well in the Liber Lilith. Um, oh yeah, because this has got my family name all over this. I always thought it was interesting. Someone asked me, they said, "Well, you didn't put in the last chapters." I said, "No, I want to." I found it's interesting in this disclaimer. It says, neither the author nor the publisher shall be held accountable for any injuries, damages, or misfortunes arising from the practice of the procedures described in this book. Under no circumstances should the dangerous ritual of sexual necromancy in the 21st chapter of the Grimoire be attempted. And let me just tell you, you see, it was this relative of mine, this Carl Steiger, he went bat crap crazy. Did. But it was interesting how, again, you know, we've talked about this, how my family name is so closely associated with Lilith. And how in that March 16th, 2016, yeah, Lilith came and visited me. We could never sleep in that bedroom after that. We had to move into another bedroom because the energy was really intense. All right, I'm looking at the time here, but anyway, it's a great story, and we're going to revisit Lilith again. I love to do that, you know, every year, just kind of go back and, you know, because people can say, well, you really have gone over the edge. That's all right. The edge is fine. In my youth, which I'm still there, just a different phase of youth, I loved repelling. So going over the cliff doesn't bother me at all. I found out that I love being tied to the rope, and man, talk about a thrill. Oh yeah. We used to rappel off of some cliffs here in Missouri, and it was so cool because you could rappel, and there was these train tracks that were going down, and if you timed it right, you could catch yourself rappelling down as the locomotives were going by. You could really feel that energy, plus the adrenaline dump, as you're going over. Anyway, I digress. Um, You're open-minded until it brings up flatter Earth. Listen, it's a matter of perspective. Technically, all you see in the heavens is a disk. It spins, but that's all you see. We don't have the advantage of 3D telescopes. Um, Lady Ellie says the Steigers are a very enlightened species. We seem to, I don't know. I mean, Carl, listen, I get it. It's an energy that I didn't pursue it like he did. I didn't have the copy of the Liber Lilith either. Uh, and I don't know if I would have been ready for it. I mean, I think about if someone would have introduced me to the Liber Lilith when I was in my 20s. I mean, what would I have done with that? I don't know. So I'm not really sure. Hey, Gaia, Chris, what's doing? Uh, yeah, I didn't ask for it either, Chris. It just, and I can tell you this, and Lynn can testify to this. She kissed me over here, and I mean, wow. I mean, it drained all the warmth out of my body. I mean, I was cold in my core. Does that make sense? And it it took me a while to recharge that. But anyway, um, I don't know. When she kissed me over here, it did the same thing again. So I don't know. It was that kiss. Lynn has always taken the attitude is that I didn't see her. So I just told you that was cool. Um, so, all right, folks. I hope you found this to be fun. I love the opportunity, we just kind of freeform it. And there's other things I had lined up, but anyway, you just go where the energy is flowing. So have yourselves a great weekend. Um, and I appreciate all of you. You're just beautiful people, and I marvel at what has grown here. It's thank you. I mean, again, each of you have added to my life in ways that you never know. And so I just speak that same energy be returned back to you 100-fold. And that's about the best way I can hang on that one. Thank you, Brian. Going down the rabbit hole is a trip. Yeah, but this one here is that we always know where we're going. We may have, a little bit of some side cafes, little rest area. But yeah. Um, all right, folks. Thank you. Lost in Space, appreciate it. Jackie J, that's exactly it. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Uma, thank you. And Susie Q, right back. Ruby Costello, how are you, my darling? Have a wonderful weekend. Brian and Cheesesteak, good to see you. How are you? Haven't seen you in a while. Robert V, check out his show over the weekend. Thank you, sir. It's y'all reciprocating time. Howard, thank you, sir. Claudette and Grace and Paul Joe, the mind of Skylar. Think you can do a call in one day? Uh-huh. Yeah. Just have to know which day. Yeah. All right, everybody. Much love to you. Have yourselves a great time. And, if you love yourself, you're going to be able to love others unconditionally. So quit harping on yourself, quit coming down on yourself, and most of all, don't curse yourself. And if you do, take that energy back and just favor yourself. Well, let me just rephrase that. Be kind to yourself. Um, that did not come out the way it was. Well, but anyway.